Documentaries are what the name would imply. They are 10-minute videos created by the students that should look similar to a documentary you'd see, say, on PBS or the History Channel, I guess. Documentaries may not exceed 10 minutes in length. They do have 5 minutes at the beginning of the meeting to set up, although most of them will not need that. They have 5 minutes to remove any equipment. Again, that 5 minutes most will not need. During that 5-minute window at the end is when you can have your discussions about the project. As a documentary judge, you will be expected to evaluate the documentary as it is being projected. The timing for the documentary will begin when the first visual image appears or the first sound is heard, and it ends when the last visual image or sound concludes. That does include credits. And student comments prior to or during the presentation are prohibited, which means they can't talk during the documentary. They can just watch along with you. You'll be evaluating it in real time. And then after the video is over, you can have a conversation with the student about the presentation. The student should run all equipment. This is important. Students are told not to expect access to the internet. I tell the teachers, and the teachers are supposed to tell the students that they should bring their documentary either on a jump drive or on a thumb drive. Worst comes to worst, bring it on a laptop if they can't get that to work. They should not be putting it on YouTube and then expecting to have access to the internet. We never know if the internet's going to work at the facilities that we use. If they cannot play the documentary, you cannot evaluate the documentary. And that is something that they are all aware of. So I know that sometimes you feel guilty if the student can't get to show their work. There's not really a whole lot we can do about that. I've never had this situation, but interactive computer programs and web pages are prohibited. Again, I've never had that happen before. Students are not expected to have internet access. Only students listed as entrants may participate in the production. Any narration that you hear should be the students talking, except in the case that they've interviewed somebody. And if they're interviewing somebody, then it's fine. They can have that voiceover on there as well. I try to stress to students that this is not supposed to be a dramatic reenactment, that this is a history project that should be using sources and interviews and that kind of thing. But dramatization is allowed. I would be surprised to see it done extremely well. At the conclusion of the documentary, students will have a credits page. The credits page is not a full works cited page. It does count towards the 10-minute time limit. There has been some back and forth about the amount that it needs to be, but it needs to be at least readable by the viewer. I would say it needs to be probably 20 or 30 seconds towards the end. And it should look something like this, and it'll either be a static page like this, or it can scroll kind of like at the end of a movie. As long as you can read it. That is not a disqualifying thing if it's going too fast for you to read. It is something that you can use as, say, a tiebreaker if you have two projects that you think are outstanding, but there's something that needs to be fixed. So just consider that as well. But those are the basic rules for the documentaries. And at the end of the evaluation form, there will be a compliance page. And again, remember, the only two disqualifiers are obvious plagiarism and tampering with another student's project. The other ones, there might be a major infraction which can hurt them in their overall evaluation, or a minor infraction which you can tell them needs to be fixed in your feedback section.